SGA was unbelievable. And I want to give endless flowers to SGA because I think a lot of people question whether or not he could perform at this level in this stage, and he proved it. I think what was made evident to me is that he needs help. He needs help. You know, this isn't a team that is fully made just yet.
It's not ready yet.
They need
help. It needs help.
They need to add another player. And it doesn't have to be a star. It doesn't have to be Kevin Durant. It has to be someone like Isaiah Hartenstein, someone around the edges, maybe like a Caruso. It has to be somebody that can help take pressure off of him, even if it's just a stretch of a couple minutes.
That is...
Like a Malik Monk, too. He would be great.
It's supposed to be J-Dub. It's supposed to be J-Dub. And why I feel like... Let me say this. I understand where you're coming from. I get it, especially after watching this series and thinking down the stretch of the games where you can only rely on SGA in those moments. I agree. But at the same time, this is the youngest team in the playoffs. J-Dub is in his second season. Chet's in his first season. It's the big three where J-Dub is in his second season. This is Chet's rookie season. This team has time to grow. I still think that I agree with you. If it is an Isaiah Hartenstein, I think that that's the one that would help them the most because they do need more of an interior presence, especially help on the glass. But this team is still so young, still so raw, that I still trust the foundation of this squad. They still have assets. They still have a bunch of draft picks. They're going to be all right. I wouldn't go... If it's the route that you kind of made me jump ship onto what you were saying was that the Isaiah Hartenstein. Caruso would be an awesome add, but offensively... The main focus needs to be the three. SGA, of course, number one. J-Dub, when SGA needs to take it easy. And then, of course, Chet Holmgren for hitting those threes and being that force inside. So I don't know if I would go all in on that, but you have a young squad. Still trusted.
This is like one of the only teams in the NBA where I can get behind you actually have like a pretty long window. Because I think typically even the Nuggets, who their dynasty or whatever is not over, their window is still there. But even looking at them, who it felt like coming into this playoffs, like I felt pretty confident they were going to be able to get through the West and you know, represent the West in the finals yet again. But this is the one team that I actually see a legit window because you have SGA at 26 years old, J-Dub, Chet, super young, Case and Wallace, that you don't have to be super aggressive yet. On the other hand, they have too many draft picks. They don't have enough roster spots for all of these draft picks. Good and point. To be fair, I mean, these are like 12 years out and stuff, but the amount of picks they've accumulated over these last couple of seasons, you got to do something with them at some point, right? So they're in position now where they're good enough to make a postseason run. I think this postseason showed you two things. Number one, if you needed to even, you know, have that validation, SGA is going to translate just fine. Put up 30, look like basically his regular season self. But the second thing is they're not quite ready yet. And although they were the number one seed, youngest number one seed in NBA history, Dallas kind of took you to town. And Dallas kind of, it felt like, really had controlled the series throughout. I didn't really feel too confident, even though I picked OKC. I was taking OKC in 6 or 7, but hindsight, looking back on it, Dallas always felt like the more complete and proven team to me. I just never felt too confident in the Thunder's offense game to game. It felt like it was just, there was a lot of tough shots. It was a lot of SGA late in the shot clock, having to hit these tough middies. Nothing ever felt super kind of fluent to me. For Dallas, I didn't feel that way because maybe it was just the way they were playing Luka and Kyrie, but they were consistently generating open shots. I didn't feel that same way about the Thunder. One of the bigger reasons why was because outside of SGA, you really didn't have another dude that can consistently create because J-Dub wasn't on. Chet can do it at times, but Chet's not playmaking or anything. Like, he could put the ball on the floor, he could attack closeouts, thing like that. But there's something missing with this OKC team that they don't have to get super aggressive yet. But this team is still ready to compete. So you should do something to bring in talent, at least put you one step ahead of what you were this year.
Hindsight is very interesting.
You got something to say about that?
It's just so hard to hear you say that, Joel.
It's your fault, man.
It is my fault.
He only picked OKC because of you, man.
No, he didn't do that. No, he's his own man. He has his own mind. He has his own thoughts.
Oh, man.
But hearing you say in hindsight, I feel like I've always felt that Dallas is the more complete team.
I shouldn't say I've always felt.
That's a tough statement.
Okay, because that implies that I was thinking after game 2, boom. But you look at it back now, I mean, the Thunder are putting up 92 points, 100 points.
In this series,
101 points.
Of course.
That's what I was talking about specifically this series.
Well, listen, I don't blame you, Dales.
But coming in, you had a top 5 offense, a top 5 defense. The more complete team was OKC.
Now, regular season numbers can be skewed. They could be skewed.
But again, in that
Cavaliers, when they lost to the Knicks in the first round, they were top 10 in everything.
No, they were a good defense. They weren't that great of an offense.
No, they were a top 10 on offense,
Were they a top 10 offense?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I know they were the number 1 defense, for sure.
They were definitely number 1 defense.
I know that for a fact.
I'll check if they were top 10 offense or not.
My thing that I have difficulty sitting with is, again, you say that in hindsight, but
they were 9th best offense.
9th, okay. Yeah. We've had conversations about how amazing J-Dub is. Mm-hmm. We've had would you rathers about how amazing J-Dub is and taking him over a lot of high quality players.
We got to stop this, man. This is the first time in the playoffs.
I have no problem with that.
First time in the playoffs.
I have no problem with him even struggling.
He had 22 points.
But to say, agreed. I think he had some great moments.
He was for the most part a B in the playoffs.
But my whole thing is to say that in hindsight, this is that they're the more complete team. There's not a reliable number 2 option, consistent number 2 option coming in. That's not a fair statement to make.
I don't feel like they lost because of J-Dub.
I don't disagree either.
I think they lost because
they got
Lou
out
Dort
physical.
Can't hit shots.
Well, that too.
On offense, Lou Dort was being left wide open, and he could not drain anything. He was cold this series.
He wasn't the only one. OKC wasn't that great of a 3-point shooting team this series, which they had been all year long.
Isaiah Joe missed some easy ones when he started in Game 5. And then Game 6, Kaysen did not shoot well either. I mean, this was a 1-point game. You know, if Kaysen Wallace makes a 3 or if SGA hits his free throws.
The other Jalen Williams having shot attempts in the fourth quarter too.
And he didn't make them. You know, this team could win. So I feel like, listen, for one, this team is super young. I do think their window, they have a big window. They got to end up paying guys soon. And this organization has been historically cheap. You could argue, well, they messed up with Harden, KD, and Russ before, so, you know, they'll make up for it this time around. You don't know that. You know, the ownership just might be cheap, and just he doesn't want to pay players like that.
They'd be a second apron team if you have 3 potential super maxes, because they can make all NBA teams or all defensive teams.
I want to make a statement, though, because we all understand that SGA was amazing, and in my opinion, the best player in this series. And that's with respect to Luka Doncic, who was going through injuries and going out there and battling and ultimately did win. I think for the 6 games, SGA proved to be the best player in the series. However, down the stretch of games, I want to see him be selfish. And I say that where he averaged 30 almost every single game, you can guarantee it 30 points from SGA. My issue is you need to know when you need to dominate the game offensively. When you're letting these guys, whether it's J-Dub, whether it's Jalen Williams, whether that's Kaysen Wallace, take these shots down the stretch, you need to demand the basketball, especially after having an MVP caliber season, especially when your team's back's against the wall. It's a game 6, you win or you go home. I need to see that level of assertiveness, that drive to want to win on a possession basis. And maybe that's unfair to ask, but when you are the best player on your team and your team honestly is in a bit of a cold spell and they need you to be that driving force offensively, especially scoring the basketball, where we saw in moments in that game 6, you saw that step back 3, whether basically in transition, that kind of saved them to give them some kind of life to stay in the game. To see them go out that way, I feel like he has another gear that he can find. That he's still young. Obviously, he is 26, back-to-back first-team All-NBA. There is another gear that I think that he can find, that every single time down the stretch of a game, he has the ball in his hands and he's looking to score the basketball, not being passive. I don't want to use the word as passive because that's not what he was doing, but
I think he made the right plays.
Not demanding the basketball. He made the right plays, but again, we saw in moments, especially late in. You look at Kevin Durant, you look at LeBron James, you look at Steph Curry. There's certain times where they understand I need the ball in my hand because I'm the offense.
LeBron is most criticized for passing the ball in those moments.
In 2007, he had 25 points in the fourth quarter and overtime straight. Nobody else, because he knew, I can't trust the rest of these guys right now. It has to be on my shoulders. Not that he couldn't trust J-Dub, not that he couldn't trust Chet, but in these moments, especially when it's win or go home, you need to have those type of moments, in my opinion.
Am I forgetting something, or did he not pass the ball to J.R. Smith Game 1 of the 2018
I mean,
LeBron's
played for 20 years.
That's not what happened. That's not what happened. He caught off. It was a rebound. It was a free throw. JR caught the rebound. And he went to half court, not knowing.
But yeah, LeBron, he does get criticized for that. But LeBron has moments too.
I mean, of course. I mean, this is not an SGA versus LeBron debate.
And that's not my point.
I don't think SGA. I don't think the problem with OKC was a lack of aggression for him.
That's again. I'm not trying to call it a problem. I'm simply saying he was amazing, but at moments I want to see him demand the basketball and just I want to live and die with his shot attempt.
The moments when your boy Cason Wallace was missing a 3,
essentially.
So essentially, but he's wide open.
I understand.
Yeah, that's really tough.
I'm not gonna be mad.
Using your label with Cason Wallace, your boy Cason Wallace. You know I am a fan of Cason Wallace.
He's been a good shooter this year too.
This series, he had that game in Game 4 where they were able to come back. He struggled in Game 5 and Game 6. I just wanted to see SGA, or I want SGA. Let me not say I wanted, because again, he was awesome. I would want to see in the future SGA be more dominant in that fourth quarter.
SGA was 3 for 5 in that fourth quarter. Jalen Williams took 6 shots. Chet also took 5 shots. It was kind of a, everyone was getting theirs. Isaiah Joe hit a 3.
You understand what I mean there?
But that's not, that shot chart doesn't tell me that he wasn't aggressive. It told me that whenever he collapsed a defense, they doubled him. And if I'm
kicking out to Isaiah Joe and Cason Wallace, I gotta live with it.
I can't be like, SGA, take that 2 of the best 3-point
shooters in the league.
It's for the fact that he was so efficient. I'm not upset if he goes and gets his shots attempts to 30, 35. I simply can live with that fact of he has been
25 shots.
That's a lot of shots.
That's why I say 30, 35.
It was the most in the game.
Of course,
on both
which makes sense
on both teams
because he needed to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we see a lot with like Jalen Brunson in this past run.
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody has any issue. We're looking at Jalen Brunson and thinking he's been a top 3 player in these playoffs, arguably top 2, arguably the best, because he's being so aggressive because of team necessity. You needed him to do that.
No, that's facts, but
OKC's not as needed as the Knicks
were.
It's
not.
You just told me that Dallas was more complete. They had a more reliable number 2. Of course, it is Kyrie Irving, but you're still understanding we have SGA. We have an MVP. He still has been amazing every single game. But if you're not fully trusting in J-Dub in these moments...
But the thing is, I think you have to trust J-Dub. Like, he's your second best player arguably all season. He's super young. He's going to be in these moments again. We're just going to go into the rest of his playoff career being like, SGA, I got to be the guy. Like, if he's having an off game, I still got to bang him hitting the shot. Just like Ant Edwards in this game, Game 7, he gets the open corner in the 3. I want him to take that shot.
The conversation is if SGA is lacking aggression.
I
think it's a no.
Is there a conversation that he has another gear to get to, though?
No, he could get better. I don't think that's shot chucking.
I think the 3 ball is the one area you could look at.
I wouldn't even call it shot chucking that I'm asking him to do. That's not what I'm asking, because his shot quality is so great.
That you're asking him to take away from other players directly correlated to him taking tough shots instead of getting open ones.
He just finds a way to get open so consistently, though.
At times, he wasn't. That's why he passed.
But he still is a tough shot maker.
And wasn't 4 for 7, maybe they win that game.
Who?
SGA. I mean, that's the one area you could probably look.
He's a 90% free throw shooter in the regular season.
No, yeah, he should have made those.
57%. Yeah, it's tough.
Luka missed them, and I couldn't hear the end of it. Yeah. You know?
Well, that was down the stretch of the game.
The points still matter. What are we doing here?
A free throw in the first quarter, same as the
fourth. Your boy fouled PJ too.
That was clean, in my opinion.
That was not clean. That was
he hit ball and obviously swiped down. What I respect from PJ is having strong hands, because that's what got him the foul, because there was no movement in the basketball at all.
Yeah, if he let it go, it would have been clean. But the fact that he held it was a foul.
For sure.
You thought it was a Mickey Mouse foul?
No, not at all. I understand the whistle, especially it was not overwhelming evidence to overturn it either. No, I'm definitely not trying to take that route and saying, oh, that's why Dallas won the game. No, I'm pretty upset because obviously we had a great rivalry at me and Dallas fans, but of course they got it. They're on to the next round.
OKC is fine. They just got to get some role players. I think Josh Giddey is on his way out.
Yep.
And you got to experiment with Lou Dort getting less minutes. You do.
It's so tough to say, though.
I mean, less minutes, I think the better way to put it is to find an upgrade over Lou Dort. I think you could find better players than him in this lineup.
So how many right out my mouth.
How many Lou? I guess Caruso.
OG Anunoby would be an instant upgrade.
I don't know if is he leaving?
Free agent.
He's leaving you guys?
He could go wherever he wants. I don't know if we're keeping him or not. We don't have rights.
I don't know. It seems like Knicks fans
bird
love
rights on
him.
him.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, we could match stuff. You know, like he could definitely come back, but I don't know yet. I don't know. I don't know.
It's TBD. But I think Lou Dort's
do you want OG to walk?
Because all three guys locked.
Huh? Do you want OG to walk?
Hell no.
No, I want to keep him.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's something you have to think about. I mean, he's somebody that has an injury history.
He does, unfortunately.
And how much you want to pay him? What if OKC says we'll give you $40 million?
Yeah.
Like you're the Knicks, you're matching that.
Would you? I'm asking you.
I would swallow it.
You have to. Nah, resume.
I would do it. I would do it.
Isn't that what Jeremy Grant got?
I wouldn't feel great about it. I wouldn't feel great.
Hey,
about
Jeremy Grant's getting 40. No disrespect.
You saw the energy when OG was on the court. Fans love him.
He hit those first couple shots. Bro,
no,
hit that three.
Of course.
Y'all were one of the best teams in basketball when he was on the court.
Yeah,
no, I know. I understand.
I feel like I agree. You got to, for lack of a better term, you got to swallow it. You got to give him the 40.
But everything comes with a price. You know, who knows what his price is going to be? And OKC has the money to do whatever they want. And they have the picks to facilitate any trade. There are avenues for them to get an upgrade over Lou Dort. There are moments where we talk about teams and we're like, okay, it's going to be hard to replace that guy. Like if Denver loses KCP, that's going to be hard to replace. OKC has the ability because of the assets they have to get a top tier player.
If they do get Caruso, that is a scary look. If you get one of the best perimeter defenders that can really manipulate 1 through 5, he really has that level of impact, is a really solid 3-point shooter, can handle the basketball. That is an unbelievable upgrade. That I'm on board with. Now I can live with the fact of I'm sacrificing one of the best perimeter defenders in Lou Dort himself, but now I'm getting a little bit more consistent offense.
They need some wing depth. I think a good player for them would be like Patrick Williams.
Okay. Hey, package deal. Get Caruso and Patrick Williams.
He's a free agent.
Oh, okay. There you go. He shouldn't command too much.
You take him over Lou Dort?
No. I mean, they're different positions.
I was going to say, just in general, just for the depth.
Oh, it now allows you to have a closing lineup of SGA, Jalen Williams, Chet, Patrick Williams, and then maybe somebody else. It could be Lou Dort, it could be anybody. But Patrick Williams gives them like a legit 6'8" defender who can shoot well. I feel like that's what they need because they have a bunch of guards out there. At some point, they're having lineups of like outside of Chet, everybody's like 6'5" and under. They need some more size to them, and I think a big reason why Dallas won was because they were just a more physical and taller team.
I feel like that's why instead of wing, I'm looking at them getting another center, whether that is bringing in Isaiah Hartenstein. I have to do more homework on how many available centers there are for sure. Claxton makes them OP. If they get Claxton, it's OP. I think that's a better move for OKC specifically than Caruso, because Caruso's amazing in his own right. But you get them Claxton, another guy that's a versatile defender, will hit the glass, can actually play the true 5, and now you can have Chet Holmgren be that roamer, can kind of play that hybrid 4 because he has the ability to stretch the floor out for you. Lord have mercy if they get Claxton.